What if she wants you more than she's letting on, but she's too scared to say it, and you've been missing every single signal she's been sending? Most people will never understand how women actually show romantic interest. They wait for obvious confessions, bold flirting, or clear invitations. But the truth is, when a woman wants you, she rarely says it directly. She hides her desire behind subtle behaviors, careful words, and indirect signals that most men completely misread or dismiss as friendliness. The result is that countless connections die before they ever begin, simply because the man couldn't see what was right in front of him. I'm going to reveal 6 hidden signs that a woman wants you but won't admit it. These aren't guesses or pickup tactics. These are rooted in deep female psychology, nervous system responses, and the way women protect their hearts while still trying to pull you closer. What you're about to learn is knowledge that was never meant to reach you in this raw, unfiltered form. The first hidden sign is that she creates constant excuses to be near you or stay in contact. This is never random. When a woman wants you, her mind begins searching for any reason to reduce the space between you. She'll suddenly need help with something only you can assist with. She'll show up at places she knows you'll be. She'll send messages about things that don't really require a response. I saw this and thought of you, or what do you think about this, even when the topic is trivial. Most men interpret this as casual friendship. They think, she's just being nice. But the psychologically aware man recognizes what's really happening. Her nervous system is driving her to seek your presence. Every excuse she creates is actually her heart trying to get closer to you without having to admit her feelings out loud. This behavior comes from a very specific place in female psychology. Women often carry deep fear of rejection. The idea of being direct and then facing embarrassment or dismissal creates real emotional danger for them. So instead, they create safe opportunities for connection. They give you many small moments where you could potentially make a move, while protecting themselves from having to be the one who risks everything first. The second hidden sign builds on the first and is even more telling. She remembers small, seemingly insignificant details about your life and brings them up later. When a woman wants you, you become important enough for her mind to store information about you. She remembers the book you mentioned wanting to read, how you take your coffee, the story about your childhood pet, or the fact that you hate horror movies. Weeks later, she'll casually reference these details. Most men brush this off as she has a good memory, but the truth is much more significant. Her mind is treating information about you as important. She is collecting pieces of your world because you have become emotionally significant to her. This is one of the clearest signs of hidden desire. This behavior reveals something powerful about how women fall for men. They don't just become attracted to your looks or status, they become attracted to your essence. When she remembers the small things, it means you have moved from being just another person in her life to someone whose world she wants to understand. The combination of these first 2 signs creates a very specific pattern. She is thinking about you when you're not there, and she is finding ways to be near you when you are there. This is the biological signature of a woman who wants you but is too afraid to say it directly. I've had many women admit in confidence that they would replay conversations with a man they liked for hours afterward. They would remember exactly what he said, how he smiled when talking about his passions, and the way he looked at them. Then they would create excuses to see him again, hoping he would finally notice what they were too scared to say. This is the game many women play when they want someone but fear rejection. The painful part is that most men completely misinterpret these signals. When she creates excuses to see them, they think she's just friendly. When she remembers small details, they don't see it as the emotional investment it actually is. They walk away from situations where a woman was desperately hoping they would step forward and meet her halfway. If you've ever had a woman seem interested one day and distant the next, there's a strong possibility you were seeing these signs but reading them incorrectly. Her signals weren't mixed. She wanted you, but was using indirect methods to communicate that desire while protecting her heart. The man who learns to read these patterns gains an enormous advantage in understanding women. He stops guessing whether someone likes him. He begins to see the invisible threads women throw toward men they desire. He notices when a woman is collecting information about him and creating opportunities to be close. But these first two signs become even more powerful when combined with the next four, because a woman who truly wants you will rarely show just one or two of these behaviors. She will show several, hoping that at least one of them breaks through your blindness. The third sign cuts even deeper into her emotional world and nervous system response. The third sign cuts even deeper into her emotional world and nervous system response. She displays nervous or playful behavior specifically around you. This is one of the most consistent signs in female attraction psychology. When a woman wants you, her nervous system becomes activated in your presence. You'll see it in small physical behaviors, playing with her hair, adjusting her clothes, laughing a little too hard at your jokes, biting her lip, or suddenly becoming shy and looking away when you catch her staring. Most men misread this energy as her being uncomfortable or uninterested. The opposite is usually true. That slight nervousness is her body responding to the attraction she feels but isn't ready to admit. Her heart rate increases, her adrenaline flows, she becomes more animated or sometimes more quiet than she normally is with other people. Another common version of this sign is playful teasing, or what women often call being mean to you in a lighthearted way. She might make fun of your shirt, your taste in music, the way you pronounce certain words, or your terrible dance moves. Most men think she's insulting them or putting them in the friend zone. In reality, this is often how women flirt when they're too scared to be direct. This behavior comes from an ancient part of female psychology. Teasing creates a safe way to build tension and emotional connection without having to be vulnerable. When she teases you, she's inviting you into a private little world between the two of you. She's testing to see if you can play in that world with confidence instead of getting defensive or overly serious. The fourth hidden sign is written all over her body, even when her words stay carefully neutral. Her body language changes dramatically when you're around. She holds eye contact a little longer than necessary. She leans her body toward you when you speak. She mirrors your movements without realizing she's doing it. She angles her body to face you directly in group settings. Her feet often point toward you even when she's facing another direction. These are ancient signals that her nervous system is responding to your presence with attraction and interest. This happens because the body reveals what the mind is trying to hide. While her conscious mind may be thinking, "Don't seem too eager," her subconscious is pulling her toward you. The tension between these two forces creates the subtle but unmistakable behaviors that give her away. One of the strongest body language signs is what psychologists call the coy smile, combined with looking away. She looks at you, smiles softly, then quickly looks down or to the side. This is an involuntary response that has been documented across cultures as a universal sign of romantic interest. It shows both attraction and a hint of shyness. Another powerful indicator is when she creates small moments of physical closeness without it being necessary. She sits next to you instead of across from you. She stands closer than necessary in public. She finds excuses to hand you things so your fingers touch. These are not accidents. These are her body's way of testing the waters of physical connection while her words remain safe and platonic. The combination of these four signs creates an unmistakable pattern. She creates excuses to be near you. She remembers small details about your life. She shows nervous or playful energy specifically around you, and her body language betrays her even when she tries to stay neutral. This pattern is the biological signature of a woman who wants you but is too afraid to say it directly. I've had women tell me in private how painful it is when they show these signs and the man remains completely oblivious. They feel foolish. They feel rejected without ever having been rejected. They feel like they put their desire on display only to have it ignored. Some women eventually give up and pull away entirely, convinced the man isn't interested, when in reality, he was simply blind to their signals. This creates one of the greatest tragedies in modern dating. Two people who actually want each other remain stuck in uncertainty because the man couldn't read the language her body and behavior were speaking. The man who learns to read these patterns stops living in confusion. He stops wondering whether a woman is interested. He begins to see the hidden desire that most men miss entirely. He notices when a woman is collecting information about him, creating opportunities to be close, showing nervous energy in his presence, and revealing her interest through her body. But these first four signs become even more powerful when you understand the final two. which reveal themselves in how she begins to protect the connection and invest in a possible future with you. The fifth sign appears when she starts making subtle, future-oriented comments that quietly include you in her plans. She might say things like, "We should try that sometime," or "Next summer would be fun too," while looking at you with soft eyes. These aren't random comments. She is testing whether you see a future where she still exists in your world. When a woman reaches this stage, she has moved from "I'm attracted to him" to "I don't want to lose him." When a woman reaches this stage, she has moved from "I'm attracted to him" to "I don't want to lose him." The fifth hidden sign is when she begins making subtle, future-oriented comments that quietly include you in her plans. This is one of the most significant shifts in female psychology. When a woman wants you, her mind begins rewriting her future with you in it. She won't always say it boldly. Instead, she'll drop careful hints like, "I was thinking about next summer," or "It would be nice to have someone to travel with one day," while looking at you with soft eyes. Or she might say, "My mom would really like you," seemingly out of nowhere. Most men hear these comments as random small talk. They respond with, "Yeah, that sounds cool," and then change the subject. What they don't understand is that she just took an enormous emotional risk. She was testing the waters of a shared future, and when you dismissed it, something inside her quietly broke. From a psychological perspective, this is massive. Women are naturally more cautious about attachment than men realize. When she begins weaving you into her future plans, even subtly, it means her heart has already decided you're safe. Her nervous system has registered you as someone worth building with. This is feminine love in its earliest, vulnerable stage. The sixth and final sign is when she begins showing subtle protectiveness over you and the connection you share. This often appears as mild jealousy or defensiveness when others show interest in you. She might get slightly annoyed when other women give you attention. She may defend you if someone criticizes you. She might even make small comments that show she's thinking about you as hers without ever using that word. These behaviors reveal that her feelings have grown beyond simple attraction into emotional investment. She may also start prioritizing you in small but meaningful ways. She remembers important dates or events in your life. She checks on you when she knows you have something stressful coming up. She adjusts her own schedule to make time for you. These actions show that you have moved from being just another person in her life to someone she wants to keep close. This final sign is the most dangerous for her to show, because once she begins investing in a possible future with you and protecting that connection, she risks getting hurt. That's why most women hide it so carefully. They reveal their desire through actions and indirect signals rather than direct words. They hope you're perceptive enough to see what they're offering without them having to say it and risk rejection. When all six signs appear together, the message is no longer uncertain. She wants you, she wants your attention, your presence, your time, and potentially your heart. But she's waiting for you to lead. She's waiting for you to show that you see her and that you want her too. This is the uncomfortable truth most men were never taught. Women often carry the fear of being too much or seeming desperate. So they learn to communicate desire in code, through repeated excuses to see you, through remembering the smallest details of your life, through nervous energy and playful teasing, through body language that reveals what their words hide, through quiet comments about the future, and finally, through subtle protectiveness over the connection you share. The average man misses all of this and spends his life wondering why women seem uninterested. The awakened man learns to read this hidden language and begins to move through the world with an entirely different level of confidence and understanding. But seeing the signs is only half the equation. The real question is what you do when you finally recognize that a woman wants you but is too afraid to say it. How you respond in those moments determines whether her hidden desire turns into something real or fades away as another missed opportunity. Many men become nervous when they finally see these signs. They overthink, they hesitate, they wait for even more obvious confirmation. In doing so, they leave the woman feeling unseen and eventually cause her to withdraw. The emotionally intelligent man doesn't play games. He doesn't wait for her to make it completely obvious. He meets her subtle signals with calm, respectful confidence. He recognizes that her indirect communication is not a game. It is her way of protecting her heart while still reaching for connection. When he sees these signs, he steps forward with clarity and respect. He shows her that her courage in revealing her interest, even indirectly, was worth it. This knowledge changes everything about how you experience relationships with women. You stop guessing. You stop living in anxiety about whether someone likes you. You begin to see the quiet invitations that have been right in front of you all along. But with this knowledge comes great responsibility. You must use it to build connection rather than manipulate. You must honor the trust she is placing in you by showing these vulnerable signs. You must become the kind of man who deserves the desire she is trying to communicate. The women who show you these 6 signs are offering you something precious. They are risking rejection in the hope that you are different from the men who came before. They are hoping you are perceptive enough to see them. They are praying you are brave enough to lead. The question is whether you are ready to become that man. The question is whether you are ready to become that man. These 6 hidden signs work together as a complete system for understanding when a woman wants you but is too afraid to say it directly. She creates excuses to be near you. She remembers small details about your life. She shows nervous or playful energy specifically around you. Her body language changes when you're present. She makes subtle comments about a shared future, and she begins showing quiet protectiveness over the connection you share. When multiple signs appear consistently, the message is clear. She is interested, she is attracted, she wants you to notice her and take the lead, but she needs you to do it with respect and emotional intelligence. Her indirect signals are not games. They are her careful way of protecting her heart while still reaching for connection. This knowledge reveals something profound about male and female psychology. Women often experience attraction as both exciting and terrifying. The fear of rejection, of being seen as too much, or of getting hurt again, makes them communicate in code. They speak through actions, through nervous energy, through memory, through body language, and through subtle future-oriented comments. They hope the right man will be perceptive enough to see what they cannot safely say. Most men never learn this language. They wait for obvious signals that rarely come. They miss the quiet invitations and spend years wondering why they can't seem to connect with women who seemed interested. The man who understands these 6 signs stops guessing. He starts seeing. He begins to move through his relationships with clarity instead of confusion. For the men watching this, I want you to take this knowledge seriously. If a woman is showing you several of these signs, you are being given something precious. Do not take it lightly. Do not respond with cockiness or games. Meet her subtle courage with calm, respectful leadership. Show her that her indirect signals were seen and valued. Let her know through your actions that she is safe to want you. For the women watching this, I want you to know that you deserve to be seen. You do not have to become someone you're not or force yourself to be bold and direct if that doesn't feel natural, but you also deserve a man who can read the language you speak. Never shrink yourself to make someone comfortable. The right man will learn to see you even in your careful signals. The right man will meet your quiet courage with steady presence. Real attraction between a man and a woman is rarely simple or loud. It is often filled with fear, protection, hope, and careful testing. The man who understands this doesn't get frustrated by mixed signals. He learns to read the deeper truth behind them. The woman who understands this stops feeling invisible when her signals aren't noticed. She begins to choose men who have the emotional intelligence to see her. This knowledge is not about manipulation. It is about understanding. It is about becoming better at loving and being loved. It is about developing the self-awareness to recognize when someone wants you and the maturity to respond with integrity. The men and women who truly integrate these truths begin to show up differently in their relationships. They communicate with more honesty, they read each other more accurately, they create connections that feel safe enough for both people to be vulnerable, they stop playing games because they no longer need to. You now carry knowledge that most people will never possess. You understand how women often communicate desire when they're too afraid to say it directly. You understand the psychology behind their careful signals. You understand what it really means when she finds reasons to stay close to you, remembers the small things, shows nervous energy in your presence, reveals her interest through her body, speaks about the future, and begins protecting the connection you share. The only question left is what you will do with this knowledge. Will you continue missing the women who want you, Or will you finally start seeing the quiet invitations that have been right in front of you all along? So I want to ask you something personal. Which of these 6 hidden signs have you either noticed in someone who wanted you, or have you shown yourself when you wanted someone? Be honest in the comments below. Your answer might help another man or woman recognize what they've been missing in their own life. If this video helped you see relationships more clearly, if it made you feel that mixture of unease and hope that comes with real awakening, then please support this message. Hit the like button so more people can find it. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're going much deeper into understanding love, male and female psychology, attraction dynamics, and self-improvement in the videos ahead. And share this video with one friend who you know is struggling to understand the signals in their own relationships. You now see what most people never will. The question is whether you're brave enough to act on what you've learned with integrity, respect, and genuine care. I'll see you in the next one.